Page 16, Swiss Melody. Well, this piece kind of looks like fun, and then it kind of looks a little yuck. What are we getting into here? Well, let's just take it a little bit at a time and see. I'll look it over. It's about a page and a half long, but it's got repeat signs all over the place, so it's really twice as long. However, we only got about a page and a half of music to learn, so that's okay. Treble and bass clef, 3/4 time signature. It has a pickup beat, half a beat. We're coming in on the end of 3, which means there should be 2.5 counts someplace else. Well, if you look at the end, and the end is the third ending at the top of page 17. There's a fine there. That's the last measure. If you look at that, that is 2.5 counts in that measure. So that's the first 2.5 counts, and then we come in on the end of 3 at the beginning. We have eighth notes, quarter notes, dotted quarter notes, lots of things going on here. And we're kind of moving all over the place, at least in the right hand. So let's check it. Right hand first, just starting here. Look at the first few notes. Here, here, and here. First full measure, we're here. Well, look at the next full measure. It's here. We're up here. We went from here to here. Well, look at the next full measure. You're here. So we're kind of climbing up. Here, here, here. Okay, but as long as we understand that what's going on, then it's 1 and 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 3. And you do it again. Let's go over to page 17, second line. You're ending the first line in this position, and at the end of the first to second ending, there's a eighth note, and then fourth finger going to the second line. That's another G. So we're just using that repeated note to change hand positions here. What you can do, if you'd like, is in the second ending at the top of page 17, rather than using thumb on the G, when you're done with the C, you can lift up and move here and just use fourth finger here if you want, immediately. But when you repeat, you need thumb on that G. So maybe it's easier for you to use thumb on it both times, and then fourth finger to go on the second line. Now that you're thoroughly confused, let me explain to make sure you understand. See, I normally don't explain the roadmap till later, but we kind of need this for the fingering. At the top of page 17, you have 3 endings, 1, 2, and 3. They've combined the first 2 endings into 1, so endings 1 and 2 is the same measure. Ending 3 is the other one. So when the first time you play ending 1 and you repeat. Then you're going through it again, you play ending 2, which is the same measure, but this time you don't repeat, you go on. So you go on to the next line, because we don't play the third ending until we play it a third time. So that comes later. So that first ending, the first time you're playing it here and you're going to repeat, that's fine. But then when you go on for the second ending, you got to go here. Hands got to come down here. And so you're down here. And the fingering in the book, they got you doing 1, 2, 1. There's times you may have to do that. I don't care for that kind of fingering, but if you want to do it that way, that's fine. What I would prefer to do in this measure, this is the first measure of the second line there. Rather than second finger, I'm going to scratch up and use thumb. And then I can cross over to the third finger, similar to a scale. And then 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. I would prefer to do that than to do 1, 2, 1, 2 thing. So 1, 3. You just got to make sure you reach back up for the A. And going on, you scrunch up. You're moving around here, and then third line at the end of it, you have an 8 VA. So you're just going to lift up here. Well, I'd like to prepare that. Because what what I would prefer to do is in the first measure, for with that C. Rather than that, I'm going to use thumb again. This way, I'm in position to go on. I'm good to go. And I'm going to use the same fingering in this next measure as I did the other. Thumb, 3. And then thumb. You can finger it as the book shows if you want. There's different styles of fingering, and I prefer the one I'm using. So that's what I try it out and see what you think. Now when you get to the bottom of page 17 on the first ending and you're going to repeat, you're up here. And they have a thumb there for the pickup to repeat. No, you don't want a thumb. Use fourth. Go ahead and use fourth finger, because when you repeat, you need fourth finger. You don't need a thumb there, so you can repeat again. You can if you want to, but I'd prefer just play it with fourth finger and you're there. You don't have to move again. For the left hand, it's just broken chords. C chord, G7. Okay. Put the hands together. You're here at the beginning. See, when I first put the hands together, I just want to know which fingers in each hand are going down at the same time, sort of. So it's here, here. Put the hands together. The left hand's not moving around. Well, that's good, because the right hand's got enough to do. And once I have the fingering and the rhythm and all that worked out, I think about the articulation. And this is very connected. You can lift up for the lift up, lift up, lift up. You hear the phrasing in there? Yeah. The left hand, I just do an chuck chuck. Chuck chuck. They're not real short. Just separate them. So. All the way through. Basically the same thing. Then the dynamics, well, that applies to the melody. It's the right hand. Moderately loud, mezzo forte. Whatever you think sort of loud is, keep the left hand in the background. You're going to echo that just very soft. The left has to be super duper soft. Now, at the end of the first and second ending, you see the MF, so you come back up to moderately loud. So whether you repeat or whether you go on, either one, you're still moderately loud. So in the second line, I'm moderately loud here. Here. And then very soft, you're just going to echo that. You get the idea. And then speed, andante moderato. Well, again, it's a leisure in the middle somewhere. Has to be accurate. To me, that's it. You may want to go a little slower than that. That's fine if that's what you want to do. I don't care. See, the eighth notes want to slow it down. But the quarter notes are going to want to speed it up a little bit. So you got to find somewhere in the middle that works for both. Somewhere in there. Now the road map, I already talked about part of it before. You have first and second endings there. They share the same measure, and we already know how to work that. And then on page 17, you have a reverse repeat sign at the beginning of the second line, and you have first and second endings at the bottom. Hopefully you know how those work by now. And then when you get to the second ending at the bottom of page 17, there's a DS all fine. We've had DC, remember, it goes back to the beginning. Well, DS means go back to the sign and then go to fine. DS, the sign is, you'll see it on page 16, it's almost at the beginning. The beginning is the pickup beat. Well, the sign is after that. You go back to there. So almost to the beginning, and you play all that again, and then you take the third ending at the top of page 17. And on the third ending, here, you're here, both hands got to move now to come up here. You got to go down here, and you got to come up here. You get a half a beat rest to do it in. You have to practice that. Now, if it'll help, what you can do is in the right hand, rather than play that C in the third inning with third finger, play it with the thumb. Now, that way, you just reach up and play the chord with 2 and 5. Because that would be the fingering, we're not using that. So that way you're not moving the right hand. That allows you to focus on the left hand. So it's here. So to start at the first line there on page 17, it's here. See, if I do that, then I can just reach up here and focus on the left hand. If you want to try that, that's fine. Now they've added pedal here, and they haven't taught you all the pedaling indications you need to know. But in my mind, if you're going to use pedal, we got to use it correctly or just leave it out. I mean, you don't need pedal on it. You can do it fine without. So I'm going to adjust this pedal because it's important to me that the pedaling be correct, not this. Now what I want to do is change the pedal. It's a technique called changing pedal. It's where the pedal is down and you just lift it up and put it right back down. Not a real quick jerky motion, just up and down. And each time they have this at the beginning where they're showing 2 separate pedal markings, that's what I'm going to do between them. I'm just going to lift up. So at the beginning, you're here, push the notes down first in the pedal. And right after I play the notes in the next measure, and then I'm going to change the pedal. That throughout. Now on page 17 in the second line, of course the first measure you don't, you smear it up. I don't like the sound of those 2 measures in the second line all being pedaled together. This, that's too much. So I'm going to change the pedal in between those measures just like I've been doing here. It just cleans it out a little bit and then starts over is all. It doesn't keep building it up. And be sure not to pedal these measures that are not marked. You don't want to pedal those. You don't want to smear it. Ugh. Let's play it together very slowly, just to check the notes and the rhythms. I'm going to pedal it like I suggested, but I'm not going to do any dynamics. I'm going to play everything about the same. We're going to do all the repeats and everything. So I'll give us, what, 3.5, 2.5 counts or something like that. 1 and 2 and 3, and so you come in on the end of 3. Just come in when I do. 1 and 2 and go. repeat.